how are you? I hope you're having a good August month. What are you reading? Um, sure, I went book shopping today. Not for me, for other people, and for myself. No, actually, I'm lying. um, how's everybody? I hope you guys are well. I got some books from guys, gym money. Gym money is the best money. Interesse says so many books. Jesus. So I got this and this. I'll do a proper book haul later, but that's what I got from Bargain Books. And I got a few titles for some friends. They're in the boot, yeah. Hello. Sure. Okay, so today is Gerald Cruk Anthology Wednesday, and I'll be reading from the first volume. Yes, I'll be reading from the first volume that has my favorite cover. So if you haven't been joining the live readings, the Gerald Cruk anthologies, there's 3 volumes from 2017 right up until last year, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2017, 2018, 2019. Yeah. So this is the 3rd one. I read from it last week. So I rotate them. So I'll be reading from Pride and Prejudice, which is volume 1. And hey, in my sleepy voice. Okay, I hope my reading will, Ms. Weiner will lull you into sleep. Okay, so the Gerald Cruk anthology is African perspectives on gender, social justice, and sexuality. And this anthology is a it's a joint initiative between the Other Foundation and Jacana Literary Foundation. And these books are actually available. Hello, everybody. They're available online. They're available at your independent bookstores everywhere, actually. But yeah, I love how they look when you put them like this. Nice. So yes, guys, I will be reading from the Pride and Prejudice, and the back of the book is Sisonke Msimang is the editor-in-chief of this award, and the head judge for the award, and the editor-in-chief for all the stories and all the submissions, because there's poetry, there's photography, there's essays, there's short stories. So she says about this anthology, this anthology walks the line between all that is dissident and everything that is normative. The stories in this collection zigzag between a desire for justice and a refusal to be merely tolerated. In these pages, you will find storylines that are achingly familiar, which play with tropes and mine them for truth. You'll also find characters that come from the future, whose tenacity resists categorization even as it reflects a resilience we have always demonstrated. This collection reflects a political movement across this continent, a moment that is defined by space and freedom even as these continue to be constrained. In other words, this is a queer collection. So I've been reading a few stories or essays from this particular volume, and they are saved on IGTV and YouTube, so you can check that out. I've read 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th one that I'm reading. So I'm gonna read the author. Did I pin the book, the story I'm reading from? Okay, hold on. Let me just pin that. Achaniaman. Okay, hold on. Do you guys have these do you have these anthology? Do you have the volumes? Has the readings actually, I don't want to make a mistake with the author's name. I don't like that. I don't want to. Oh no. Yes. I will tell you more about the writer. The entry that I'm reading from is called The Conversation. So I've been reading from some of the winning entries. Okay, it's pinned. I'm going to read the bio. I normally read the bio and then I start with the story, or I'll read the bio afterwards. But it's actually very short. Olakunle Ologunro is an English language student in the University of Ilorin. He currently resides in Lagos, Nigeria, and is an alumnus of the Farafina Trust Creative Writing Workshop. So let me also read the back of the book. Filled with brave, stirring, and multi-layered works of fiction, poetry, journalism, academic writing, and photography from across the African continent, this anthology offers new perspectives on what it means to be marginalized, forgotten, and stripped of one's humanity. Pride and Prejudice is a collection of the shortlisted entries to the inaugural award named after Gerald Cruck, born 1956 to 2014, who was a passionate champion of social justice and anti-apartheid activist. These stories are a badge of honor for those who work tirelessly to keep hope alive by working towards lasting change, and for those who continue to love in spite of the fear. The Gerald Cruck Award is a joint initiative between the Other Foundation and the Jacana Literary Foundation. I'm sorry, guys. Thank you. Okay, so here goes. The Conversation by Olakunle Ologunro. Before I found out the meaning of the word effeminate, I was already aware of how much of a girl I was. I feel like I've read this story before. I don't know. Okay, it's deja vu, but anyway, let me continue. Before I found out the meaning of the word effeminate, I was already aware of how much of a girl I was. Then I would have given a finger to become a dancer in a pop video, to paint my lips and wear wigs that reached my waist. It was there, in my voice, in the hours I spent preening in front of our living room mirror that was framed with green plastic. It was in the lip gloss I used because if I didn't wear it, my lips would dry out. It was in my mother's dresses, the ones I tried on when she was away. In school, I was called girlish boy. My classmates said my hips swayed when I walked. They said I could fling my arms and make more exaggerated gestures than most, if not all, the girls in my class. Later, they called me canary or nightingale because no matter how hard I tried, my voice never had the bass of the other boys, only the delicate wavering of a song. I'm so sorry, guys. Sometimes I would force out the baritone to hear how the male voice sounded coming from my lips, but I knew as I produced the sounds that it wasn't mine, that it was not what I wanted to be. I knew I liked boys when I got an erection the day my uncle took a bath with me. Oh, there's a wall at the back. Yes, guys. Yeah, the twins are at it. Actually, twin one, not the twins. Okay, I knew I liked boys when I got an erection the day my uncle took a bath with me. His penis grazed my back when he scrubbed my leg. I was 7 and aware of an alien rush of feelings in me. They made goosebumps form on my skin, but I had no name for it. I didn't know that there was a tag, an identity for this feeling. I didn't know there were others like me, people who looked at naked uncles and felt a stirring deep in their bodies. I was 9 when our neighbor's son kissed me. It was a simple thing and ought to have been treated as such. Just a touch of lips because we wanted to play, and there was no one to imitate mother. Yet there was no simplicity in the response I felt in my penis, which strained against the fabric of my yellow cotton underpants with the elastic band. This kiss was followed by others. We played often, and the suggestion of "let's act like I'm sleeping on you" was made with increasing frequency. His family moved away in 2005, the year the Bellevue plane crashed. I remember his chipped front tooth. I remember not wanting them to go. There were others after him. There was Mayowa, the one who was always behind the fence after darkness had fallen. There was Chibuike, the pastor's son, who interpreted every Sunday sermon and shouted like his father. Then there was Austin, the one with the penis that leaked with just one touch, and John with the body odor and faded Arsenal jersey. I was eager to discover, hungrily taking in, but not sure of when to give. But I grew more certain. After each sweaty kiss, each slippery fumble with a new lover, I understood more about my body. I knew that my body's displays of lust were as personal as my skin. No matter which guy I happened to be attracted to, this was who I was, a gay man. I met Ibrahim when I went to university. It was the year I decided to live without conforming, to open up and be free. University was nothing like I had expected it to be. The lecture theatre had broken seats and dangerously twisted metal jutted out of the places where the seats had fallen off. The windows had too much dust and the boards hadn't been cleaned properly, their white surfaces marred with faded writing that had been scribbled over too many times. On the day I met Ibrahim, I was shouting at a taxi driver. The driver was shouting back. Ibrahim, a dark-skinned guy in a cocaine white shirt and distressed denim, intervened. Ooh, crisp white, guys. Ms. Weiner says, loving that orchestral background. Oh. Ish. And they always quiet the whole day, but when I have to read, I'm busy, but I see them. Okay, so Ibrahim is all fine. He said a careful, "It's okay, Emabinu," and paid the taxi driver. He turned and offered me a ride in his vanilla-scented car. He was privileged. He owned a car and lived alone. Whereas my parents asked incessant questions, calculated my pocket money, and rationed my foodstuffs. That you are in university does not give room for wastage, they said often. And remember who your father is. No one seemed to be asking Ibrahim questions and lecturing him. Ibrahim met my parents when we had Christmas break. Something had formed between us then, an elaborate collection of emotions and need. We had gone past the awkward stage of getting to know each other. I wanted Ibrahim and he wanted me. It did not matter how or why. With Ibrahim, I felt an assured security, like I could stand on a table with broken legs and never fall, like I could leap from a great height and land in the safety of his arms. He and my father bonded because my father was pleased that I had made friends with a fellow Muslim and an older person who could act as a guardian and make sure I never misbehaved. My mother called him respectful, laughed at his jokes, asked about his family, and insisted that he eat. Would he like some fura, or did he prefer peske? I sat demurely across from them in the living room and watched as though they were actors that I loved in a play. This was happiness. Never premise was a lie. After their meeting, my parents gave their approval freely. Yes, you can move in with him. Of course, you can spend Salah at their place. Give Al-Hajja this hijab for me. Tell her Barka se Salah. It was too normal, too harmless looking to attract questions. The first time Ibrahim slapped me was a Tuesday. I remember how dusty that day was. Earlier that day, I had gone for a lecture that was cancelled because the lecturer could not find fuel. Since going back home would be a waste of money, I spent the afternoon with my friends, talking about forgiveness and laughing about how annoying it was that MTN had to make their customers register one SIM card 100 times. It was nightfall by the time I got home. I got in and said, "Babe, what's up?" He was reading a book. He liked to read in the evenings. Better assimilation. He'd once said when I asked him why. Oh, okay. So he'd say better assimilation. An empty cup sat on the table as though he were royalty. "What were you doing in school that kept you so long?" he asked without looking up. I put down my bag, reached for the cup, filled it with water, and drank before I answered. "Just the normal, our school. Our school." I flopped down on the mattress. "That doesn't answer my question." I turned to look at him. He dropped the book and faced me. A tuft of wool from the pillow was trapped in his hair. "What happened?" I asked, sitting up. "I called someone in your department and she told me you guys had no lecture today. So what were you doing in school till this time?" I exhaled and smiled. I like it when you are jealous. It makes me feel special. I stood up to start on dinner, but he stood in my way. I stopped, taken aback. He had never acted this way before. "Where are you coming from?" he asked with a deliberate slowness. His voice, lowered so people from the next room would not hear him, had taken on an ominous cadence. I frowned. Where else? The rest of my sentence was disrupted by the slap. I felt his palm on my cheek. It was heavy, as though it was not simply a hand. I was dumbfounded. I gaped at him in shock. In all the months of our relationship, months of sex and gentle whispers, months when the dusty wind settled on clean pots and plates and heavy rains saw us pulling the curtains close and falling asleep in each other's arms, he had never slapped me. I found my voice. I spoke slowly. It felt like someone was borrowing my body, speaking with my voice and using my brain, like the real me was still at school and this was merely a shell standing in front of Ibrahim. I said his name, but nothing else would come out. Ibrahim. The power of coherent speech eluded me. Words were like birds scattering to escape the stones of a child's catapult. You are no longer who you used to be, he said, and went out, slamming the door behind him. After he left, I touched my cheek again to make sure what happened was real, that I had not imagined it. Everything in the room still seemed normal, and this surprised me. The curtains fluttered insouciantly. Someone from the next room laughed. The cup sat innocently on the table. Perhaps he was angry about something else, I told myself. But even then, the stupidity of the statement glinted at me darkly. Still, I assured myself that that was it. I was feeding myself a false truth I desperately needed to believe. Sorry, guys. Zindatu says the writing is lyrical. Yeah, Yedwa. And Ntavi says, Mudim, hey. Hey. And Refila says, yay, Mr. Possessive. No. There it is, the denial. It starts like that, right? Sure. And even the it's so, I love how Olakunle is writing. It's so poetic, you know? Sorry. So I like how he painted the picture of how it slowly started and everything was good, you know? And now you just sitting there and the room still looks the same, but you've been slapped. So you are different, but everything else is like the same. Ibrahim did not come home that night. He returned the next morning just as the noise of the morning prayer call from the mosque was pushing against the windows. I'm sorry, he said. I stared at him. There were things I could have done, words I could have shouted at him. Instead, I stared at him in silence. The women in the next room to ours were praying. Their cries of Jehovah and Lord Jesus sounded like words of strife rather than words of peace. He reached for my hands and held them in his. I shook them away. Sorry I acted that way. I'm really sorry. I don't know what came over me, I swear. Yeah. Very on brand, hey? Very on brand. It became a mime. His voice saying sorry, his hands squeezing mine gently and his lips on mine. It moved into a kiss, and then there was the urgency of need, of unsaid apologies binding us together. It was there in his thrusts, in his moans, in our muffled voices bleeding into each other. Afterwards, he slipped out and unrolled the soiled condom. We showered. He went to join the morning prayers. The next time he hit me was a week later. A classmate, a male who Ibrahim said had the tendencies of being gay the first day they met, had called me. Ibrahim and I had been cuddling in bed when the phone rang. I disengaged from him so I could pick up the call. It was a simple question of, did the lecturer for BCH 212 say he would be there at 2 p.m. or not? Which got a direct no. And then the call moved on to how annoying the lecturers were and how tiring our school was and how it seemed like final year and graduation was a lifetime away and why we needed to have a new course rep. A minute passed, then 2, then 5, and we were still on the phone, laughing and exchanging annoying instances of mistreatment of students by lecturers. Ibrahim stood up, filled a glass, gulped it, parted the curtains, flipped through a textbook and closed it again, then finally snatched the phone from me and ended the call. "What is the meaning of this wanna, Ibrahim?" I asked. Outside the window, a pepper seller trudged by. Her wrapper was green, the light green of a beer bottle. "Oh," he said in the way that one does to draw attention to a ridiculous thing. "So it has now got to the point where your lover can call you at home, eh?" I laughed. Lover indeed. Since when did you and I become married that I should have a lover? The phone began to ring again. I stood up and reached for it on the bed. "Pick up that call and I'll show you what I can do," he said. I laughed. He often joked with things like that, usually the "what he could do" ending up as kisses and sex. "You have taken something, I know." "Hello, Jare," I said and placed the phone to my ears. The force of the slap pushed the phone from my hands. It landed on the floor in pieces. I was stunned into silence. Guys, Ntabi says Ibrahim is such a narcissist. Oh my goodness. And Zintatu says absolutely on brand. They all never know what comes over them until it happens again and again. Then they start blaming the victim. Yep. So on brand. And I'm not going to continue reading. You have to buy the book. I will continue reading because I have the book. Guys, so Jacana Media is asking for assistance with regards to pressing print. Just check out their website, jacana.co.za. These, so that they can continue to print some of these amazing works. I know from the authors breakfast that we went to earlier this year or late last year, there were some announcements of all the books that they were planning to print this year. So like thinking back and thinking about how important it is for stand kanjani, like kanjalo Ntabi. So yeah, I think it's very important that we continue buying books and supporting all the publishing houses that are still producing books in this current state of affairs, you know. Zintatu says, "Gitomile." Zintatu, it's time. I need to go cook. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. If you missed it, please check it out on IGTV. I will save this and I will load it up onto YouTube in the next hour or so. I hope you, if you want some more, buy the book, or better yet, buy all these, you know. It's jacana.co.za. Please provide the website again. I need to buy these books. And Tabi, you can check out, these books are actually available not directly from Jacana, because they are a publisher. So they have a campaign asking for assistance from the readers for helping out the publishing house. That is on jacana.co.za. But the books you can get from Exclusive Books, from Book Circle Capital. You can just call them and find out if they do have. I know I got mine from, one I got from Jacana and the book sale. Yeah, one I got from the book sale and one I got from Love Books. So you can get them anyway, really. Bongani says, you got all three. Yes! Maybe next week you should read. You should read. Yeah. We are reading volume 3 for this other queer book club I'm part of. Oh my gosh, nice. So volume 3 is this one, The Heart of the Matter. I love its cover as well. It's like taken, the picture I was probably taken on a rooftop. Yeah, it looks like it's a rooftop. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So, Bongani's got all three. This is from Love Books. This one was from Jacana, and one I bought from the Jacana book sale that took place last year when they were trying to get rid of some of the books. So yeah, African Child I Am says thank you for reading. Hopefully one day you will read my books on live. Okay. Yedra says sounds good. I caught it late. You can catch it on IGTV, Yedra. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for supporting. Please look out for, I know I said it before, I will run a competition. Just be patient. I'm trying to get the subscribers on YouTube, on the YouTube channel up, so that I can start making new videos. So I'll keep on loading the videos that we do now with the live book reading until I get to a certain number. But I'm gonna run a competition on YouTube through the social media pages, the normal ones like IG and Facebook and Twitter. But it'll be one book, and then I will try and encourage everybody to subscribe on the YouTube channel. Okay, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I read from The Conversation by Olakunle Ologunro. And his story was shortlisted in this anthology volume. Did I read from the first one, Pride and Prejudice. Thank you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday. So Thursday we free, is it free flow? Yeah, I'll read something. There will be something to be read tomorrow because there's lots of books, So I will see you guys tomorrow. We have an appointment at 5. Thank you guys. Bye. Let me see if there are any comments. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Bye guys. See you. Thank you, Yedra.